What exactly is the difference between cemeteries, graveyards, and kirkyards? Today we're diving into a question that has sparked hundreds of comments in my videos. Are they the same thing? Were they always the same thing? And why did those terms evolve in the way that they did? So let's walk through this history together. Before I go any further, first tell me in the comments, take your guess. Do you think that there's a difference? For most of early Christian history, everyone in a town was buried in the same place. That place was a churchyard, the land surrounding the local church. Those were small, sacred pieces of ground at the center of community life. Families worshiped there, married there, gathered there, and when they died, they were buried there. This is what is now called a graveyard. The word cemetery actually came along well before the word graveyard. It comes from a Greek word that means sleeping place, but for centuries it simply meant the same thing as a churchyard. It wasn't until the 1800s that cemetery took on a meaning that we know today. As cities grew, those old graveyards became overcrowded. They smelled terrible, they spread disease, and in places like London they were packed so tightly that new graves were dug only inches above the old ones. It was time somebody stepped in. Governments began closing the old graveyards and building new burial grounds outside of the city centers. These new places were planned like parks, open to people of all faiths and managed by city officials. These were the first cemeteries in the modern sense of the word. So here is the easiest way to remember it. A graveyard is usually attached to a church. A cemetery is not. Cemeteries can be secular, religious, private, municipal, giant, tiny, wooden, landscaped, or designed as a memorial park. Graveyards, on the other hand, are usually smaller, older, and tied directly to a church building. But wait, you talked about kirkyard in the beginning. This one belongs to Scotland. Kirk is the Scots word for church, so a kirkyard is simply a Scottish churchyard. It is the exact same idea as a graveyard, just in the Scots language. Places like Greyfriars Kirkyard in Edinburgh still carry that name very proudly. Today, these words get mixed and matched around a lot. In the United States, most people say cemetery for everything. In the United Kingdom, people still use graveyard to mean that traditional churchyard setting. And in Scotland, kirkyard is still part of the cultural language. Even though these terms have grown and changed, they all reflect the same story. They show us how our ancestors handled death, honored their dead, and adapted to communities growing and changing along with them. I hope this helps clear up a little cemetery terminology, and maybe gives you some new appreciation for the places we visit and the stones that we clean. Until the next stone, thanks for watching.